Oh yeah, good morning. This is the Calvin Dean Show. My name is Calvin Dean. Welcome people. Week 17. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Week 17. Wow. And what happened yesterday? Russell Wilson gets benched. Now, this is not a move, there's 2 games left, right? And the move was strictly money, guys. Because now this was offered to Russell, I believe it was like a few games ago, when he actually was just, going off. And he actually played, knowing that the Broncos were doing this. He actually went out there and played for the Broncos. Seriously, he's literally, if you look at every stat that he has, he's literally the 7th rated quarterback in the NFL. 7th rated quarterback in the NFL. Now, with QBR, which is a quarterback rating, he's number 1. Okay, there's no one better. But combined everything, touchdowns, you name it, he's the 7th rated quarterback in the NFL. 7th. And, the thing is this. I'll explain it to you guys. Now, there is a clause in Russell's contract, right? And it's called, if he got hurt in the next 2 games, if Russell got hurt, then they would owe him $37 million. It would just be instant. It would be a guaranteed money of $37 million, right? It's all about money, guys, in the league, and you have to just get used to it. On Wednesday, Russell Wilson was thrust into the 2nd spot with Jared Stidham, into an unusual spot that he's experienced before. You have to understand. Remember, a year taking over, he was benched. Okay. Derek Carr in Las Vegas. Remember this? Stidham relieves Wilson with 2 games left in the season, just like he did with Derek Carr. They were trying to, not have to pay a guaranteed money. Okay, this is what happens. Situations are near mirror. It's just so. It's so NFL, man. It's such an NFL with guarantees. Teams are trying to avoid serious injury that could turn portions of the contract into guarantees as they look to move forward from a high-priced veteran quarterback. Stidham happens to be the next man in line in both situations. Now, you got to figure this. Stidham's contract, let me see. I think Stidham's contract includes, he signed a 2-year contract, right? And that's the thing. People wondered why he was signing Stidham such a high contract for a backup, right? Everyone was wondering, scratching their heads. He signed a 2-year contract with Denver in the offseason, which includes $4.49 million base salary, and a $7 million cap hit in 2024. Which he would be guaranteed if he plays in 2024, right? That's if he balls out for the next 2 weeks. That would exceedingly be cheaper than for a potential starter, okay? Given it would be cost on cap hit, cut Wilson in the offseason. Stidham's play in the 2 final games could prove to be a massive part of calculus, okay, and help explain why Peyton's anxious to see the QB in the offense. It's all about money, right? It's all about money, and this is the ugly part of the NFL right here. Seriously, it's the ugly part of the NFL because, here you are sitting a quarterback whose QBR is the top in the league. There's no one better. Lamar's not better. Josh Allen's not better. No one's better than Russell Wilson with QBR. So you have to understand that. Unfortunately, now because of Russ's contract, and the weird part of it is, they're still in the hunt for a wild spot. The Broncos are. I guess they're caring more about the future other than this year. But didn't they hire Russell Wilson for a championship or to get into the playoffs, right? Why? This is the thing. You can't blame Russell Wilson. Look at the standings. Look at the stats. Let's look at the stats of the Broncos. The stats is this, guys. They're 25th in offense, unfortunately. They just don't. It's just not all Russell Wilson, right? They're 30th in defense. 30th. There's 32 teams in the league, guys. 32 teams in the league. 25th passing, 14th rushing. Guys, it's sad. It's sad, but that's reality of the league. How about week 16? Wow. Some massive surprises. Now, some of it's not surprises. The one is the Jacksonville Jags. I got that all wrong. I should have been all over the Bucs because Jacksonville is just hurting big time. Everyone's hurt. Zay Jones is out. Christian Kirk is out. You see how when Christian Kirk is out and Lawrence just can't do anything. He can't. Christian Kirk is that good of a talent that he can't. And then there's no Zay Jones. There's no Zay Jones either. They lose 30-12. My bad in that one. And the Miami Dolphins, hats off to them. They're playing at home, and the Dallas Cowboys lose 20-22, and they stuck in there. But guess who got hurt during that? I guess Tua's thumb and his quad or thigh is on the injury report right now. He's questionable for this next game against the Ravens. But and then I had New England over the Broncos. It was kind of an exciting game in a way. And then the Raiders coming out and that defense. It's the funniest part is this is how good their defense is. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 14 points, right? And their defense was all part of it. They only had like 100 and I believe it was like. Let me see the total yards stats for the Raiders. Well, ready? Oh my God, this is so terrible. O'Connell, 9 for 21 for 62 yards. Zamir White ran 22 times for 145 yards. That was the only offense that they had. Literally, that was the only offense they had. And so they had, not that much, guys, like maybe 200 yards of offense. They didn't have one completed pass in the second half, and they still won. Mahomes went 27 for 44 for 235 yards. And then I guess it's just Patrick Mahomes had 10 carries for 53 yards. Virtually what they're doing is this. Pacheco had 11 carries for 26 yards. What they're doing here, the offense is not clicking. Rashid Weiss had 6 catches for 57 yards. Richie James, 3 catches for 54 yards. Kelsey, 5 catches for 44 yards. It's just, Kelsey, they just don't have anything going. A fumble, Pacheco had one fumble, one loss, right? Mahomes had that one fumble, but he got it back on for himself, right? It's just, Mahomes had one touchdown and one interception. So, I mean, the team just doesn't look good. They're stagnant when it comes to offense. Who's going to step up? And if that's the thing, all these teams they're loading the box, they're stopping the run. And then they're just rushing the passer. And Mahomes was running the whole entire time, so they know they're going to throw because they can't run, and so they're just all over Mahomes, and it's just sad. It's sad. The demise of the Kansas City Chiefs. You saw it in front of the Raiders, and they saw it at home. That's even worse. The Eagles squeaking by on the Giants. The Eagles just don't look right. Something about isn't it sad? They're 11-4 and they don't look right. And then the Niners getting just beat by the Ravens. Now I did predict in the beginning of the year. I predicted the Niners be 13-4. I predicted that the Ravens would be 14-3. And I predicted both teams would be in the Super Bowl. And I think they sure will. I mean, I'm just like right on. If you go to my shows, the preseason shows, look at them. Listen. And, they're live shows at the bar. And, look at them and listen. It's, it's scarily, I'm right about those two teams. Now, let's just get into it, guys. Let's go. Let's just do this, right? What? There we go. Yeah, I know. Let's just let's do the Thursday night football. I love saying that. It's so much fun. Anyway, we had the Jets, the New York Jets. Ugh. Their offense is 32nd, passing is 31st, and their rushing is 28th. Ugh. And they're the third-ranked defense in the league. That's the whole thing that keeps them, who they are right now. But the Browns are 13th offense, first in defense, 20th in passing, and 11th in rushing. It's in Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. Flacco is going to be starting. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm. He is going against a third-ranked defense, so it's not going to be a pushover. It's not going to be like last week. It's just not. It's just not because, they were playing the Texans. And the Texans, their offense, in all reality, the Texans, they always play well. They had 22 points. Flacco went for 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But that's Joe Flacco, man. He's going to have 300-plus yards. He's going to have those touchdowns, but he's going to have the interceptions. That's just the way it is. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is out, guys. He's out for the year. He went on IR, so it's all Flacco, man. They call up a couple players. I guess one they called up the Browns because Dorian Thompson got hurt. So. Davis Mills, 15 for 32, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Case Keenum, they brought him in, and 11 for 17, 62 yards, and 2 interceptions. So, they're just not looking good without C.J. Stroud. They're nothing. And that's the thing, guys, with Houston. What's scary? It's kind of scaring everyone, scaring me, is that, think about it, I have no idea what's going on with C.J. Stroud. This is going on the third. Usually people come out of concussion protocol like 1 or 2 weeks. We're going on 3-4 weeks now. And it's scary. He's still in concussion protocol. Now, this is what happens. He practices, and he's limited in practice this week. And so he goes practice, and then they go back and they test him to see if he's having any symptoms. And if he's having symptoms, they just won't clear him. So, and that's how they judge a person who has a concussion. And it's scary, but I mean, without him, they're really nothing. I mean, the kid is he's like Superman, you know? So we have the Jets and the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry. I told everyone before last week, I said, there's no way I'm going to get on the Cleveland Browns. I mean, not the Cleveland Browns, but the New York Jets bandwagon. I just can't. I can't do it, guys. Their offense is just terrible. And it's just not the quarterback. Who knows who the quarterback is? And, you know, Zach Wilson, you know, I mean, he's just, I don't know. He's terrible. And you have the leaders. You have the 32nd offense. You know, 32nd. Zach Wilson only has 2,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 60% of his passing. That's good. Breece Hall has 173 attempts, and he has 732 yards of rushing, 4 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, I have no idea why they don't play him. I still don't understand it. I don't understand it. And he's 214 yards. Wow. Wow. That's just another thing that I just don't understand. Why bring a guy on? And I know they brought him on because they thought, oh, Bryce Hall is, we don't know if he's going to be sound, yada, yada. But, man, I mean, Garrett Wilson's their only really wide receiver. He's had 88 receptions and 958 yards. He might eclipse 1,000 yards with Zach Wilson. But think about it. Zach Wilson has 2,271 yards, right? And Garrett Wilson has 958 of them. Wow. I mean, there you go. I don't know. I just don't see them beating the Browns in Cleveland. I just don't see it. I'm giving this one up to the Cleveland Browns. There you go. It's kind of an easy pick, right? It's my best lock of the week is the Cleveland Browns on Thursday Night Football that beat the New York Jets. Wow. That is my lock of the week. Boom. Yeah. Now we have one game on Saturday. I don't understand this one. I guess it's Saturday Night Football. They want to have Saturday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. I guess because we don't have Monday Night Football because Monday night is New Year's Day, right? So they're not going to have a game on New Year's Day because of all the college games going on. And you have Michigan and Alabama playing in the Rose Bowl, one of the games, playoff game, right? So, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. That's going to be a great game to watch, actually. Saturday is a great Saturday Night Football. I mean, this is unheard of. We have the Detroit Lions 11-4 and the Cowboys 10-5. Now, the Cowboys just got beat by Miami 22-20. So, and the Lions, I mean, yeah, they beat the Vikings pretty handily. I mean, not handily, but they did beat the Vikings. And then, I'll tell you, hats off to the Detroit Lions. They're not laying down. I thought they would lay down. I really do. You have the third-ranked offense of the Lions and the sixth-ranked offense of the Cowboys. 15th ranked defense for the Lions, 7th for the Cowboys. 5th ranked passing for the Lions, 5th, against the 6th ranked for the Cowboys. 3rd rushing for Detroit, and 12th in rushing for the Cowboys. You know, the Cowboys, when they got rid of Zeke, they said, oh, Tony Pollard, yeah, Tony Pollard. You know, and I don't know, Tony Pollard is, let me see, he's got 886 yards rushing. And Dowdell, I guess how do you pronounce it, has 315 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tony has 5 touchdowns. And now Dak is at 68% completions. That's pretty good. 3,892 yards, 30 touchdowns. That's awesome. And 7 interceptions. That's pretty good, guys. CeeDee Lamb is playing out of his mind. Is 1,424 yards. And touchdowns, 9. Wow. Ferguson, their tight end, is just stepping up. He has 5 touchdowns, 659 yards, 61 receptions, over 10 yards per reception. Same with Mr. Lamb. Pretty good. Tony Pollard is looking great, but he can't be the only one. And this is the thing. The reason why the Lions are the Lions. Well, for number one, look at the passing percentage on Dak Prescott is 68.4, and Jared Goff is 67.7. So virtually 68% on both of them. You have to round it up for Jared Goff because it's a 0.7, and you have to round it down because it's a 0.4 for Dak Prescott. So it's 68% on both of them. Jared Goff is 3,984 yards, and so he's virtually almost 100 yards more passing yards. He has 27 touchdowns. Dak has 30. There you go. He has 10 interceptions. Dak has 7. All right? But here's the big stat that you have to really pay attention to. Is the rushing. We have Montgomery at 910 yards rushing. 910 yards, okay? Tony Pollard has 886, right? And Dowdell has the 300, right? But Jahmyr Gibbs has 872 yards rushing. Them combined, Montgomery and Gibbs combined, well, Montgomery has 11 touchdowns and Gibbs has 9. 11 and 9. It's 20 touchdowns between the running backs and only 7 touchdowns between Pollard and Dowdell. Pollard only has 5 touchdowns. You can't even touch the backs. And that's huge this time of year, guys. What you have to realize, when it comes to December, January, you're going to be playing in cold weather. And inclement weather. Maybe not in Texas. It might be raining and stuff, but it's just, the last time these teams meet, Dallas beat them, 2022, last year, October 23rd, 24-6, they beat them. Yeah. This year is going to be different. It's going to be different this year. I'm giving this one up to the. Are you ready? Oh, come on, everyone. Are you ready? I'm giving this one up to the Detroit Lions. I love that stuff. Yeah, Detroit Lions over the Dallas Cowboys. We have the next game. We have the Miami Dolphins going into Baltimore, playing the Baltimore Ravens. You have to know everything about who's hurt, who's not hurt. Tua, his thigh, quad, and his thumb is questionable. on the injury report, but questionable. He probably will play, but still questionable. And drinking coffee on a Thursday morning, talking to you guys, I love that stuff. And boy, I mean, this could be a good game. This is not an easy game for either team, right? I mean, the Ravens looked all world against the Niners. Will they be coming down? Whoever plays the Niners, the next game they usually lose. It's just the stats. But number one offense is the Dolphins. I mean, they only scored 22 points against the Cowboys, and the Ravens' offense is 5. The defense is the Miami Dolphins is 4. Wow, they're just coming to life. And 6 for the defense of the Ravens. But the Ravens' defense looked just awesome against the juggernaut Niners team, right? Number one passing for the Dolphins. How are they going to stop Tyreek Hill? I mean, he has a bum ankle. Waddle's been injured. And the 21 passing for Lamar Jackson, but that's just number one rushing for the Ravens. Number 5 for the Dolphins. It's in Baltimore. I think if it was in Miami, it would be different. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be one of those games, but it's in Baltimore. I'm giving this one up to the Baltimore Ravens. There you go. And we got the next game. We have the New England Patriots. They just won't go away. They're like a gnat. They just won't go away. That defense is just, great. You never know about the New England Patriots. It's like, they're going into Buffalo, playing Buffalo. Buffalo needs this. They just need it. Look at all the stats. Jones has only 2,120 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. You got 66% for, they had 65% passing for the Jones. He's at 64.9. You have to round it up to 65. And then you have 66.5% for Allen. He's at 0.5, so you have to round it up to 0.6. You have 67, 3,700 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. James Cook. Hats off, man. He's over the 1,000-yard mark. He's ran 4,038 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 413 yards and 13 touchdowns. So virtually Josh Allen has 40 touchdowns already. 40 touchdowns, guys, already. 40. Josh Allen. Don't ever say, "Oh, he's not the best. He is." I'm sorry. 40 touchdowns. 40 touchdowns. 40. 4-0. I'm sorry. Wow. That's a weapon. 40 touchdowns. Anyway, the Bills, everything, it's just, this whole game, stats, who's hurt, who's not. Miami barely beating the Dallas Cowboys, doing it ugly. I'm giving this one up too. The team that really needs it, and that's the Buffalo Bills. Giving this one up to the Buffalo Bills. There we go. The next game is the Falcons. They just came out of the woodwork last week. They just proved me wrong, which is great. I'm glad they did. You have to look at the stats. I should have really picked Atlanta and the stats on this one. But this is in Chicago. Justin Fields is playing out of his mind right now. That's the bad. This game is like you take a quarter and you flip it up in the air. Who's going to win? Justin Fields at 60.9% passing rate, completion, and which is like 61%. 2,146 yards passing. That's literally terrible for the NFL. 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Let me see. He has 3 touchdowns. So he has a total of 18 touchdowns. 3 running. He has 558 yards in running. He's even beating the next running back, which is Hebert, who's been hurt, and he has only 459 yards. I mean, DJ Moore is it. He's great. I mean, they wondered why they brought him on the team. 83 receptions, 1,141 yards, 7 touchdowns. Kmet, playing out of his mind, 678 yards, 6 touchdowns. The Falcons, Desmond Ridder, I mean, he's at 63%, 2,528 yards, 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Ugh. Bijan Robinson, the rookie, 873 yards, 4 touchdowns. Algier, 646 yards, 4 touchdowns. Drake London, 808 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pitts, ugh. You know, I say yuck. It's just that they were supposed to be, you know, Kyle Pitts was supposed to be the greatest tight end ever to enter the game, which he's a flop. Trust me, he's a flop, guys. He is. He's just terrible. Terrible team, really. I mean, stat-wise, and look what he has to offer. Desmond Ridder. It's a joke. I'm sorry. Look at their offense. Look at their stats. They're 7-8, 6-9. They're playing for their playoffs. Chicago, 6-9. They still have the number 1 pick. They're not going to keep. Guys, please. They're not going to keep Justin Fields. If you think they're going to keep Justin Fields, you're on some type of medication that should be looked into. Because they aren't. They're just not. They're going to pick number 1 in the draft. Obviously you know who they're going to pick. So, I'm sorry. It's just, this game is ugly to look at on stats. I mean, the Falcons look better than anything, but it's in Chicago. The way Chicago's playing in Chicago, I just don't see the Falcons winning this game. I'm going to give this one up to the Bears in Chicago. Next game, we have the Titans. Tannehill came in and played well. Stat-wise, Will Levis, 1,700 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 59% passer rating. D-Hop, wow, he's stepping up almost 1,000 yards this year, giving the team hello. And even Henry, he's at 972 yards, 11 touchdowns. So, I mean, he's going to be over 1,000 yards again. Derrick Henry. They say he's washed up. Who said that? Houston barely beat Tennessee last week. Tennessee's 5-10, ugly. They didn't beat them last week. That was Tennessee. Houston beat them, December 17th last week. I'll be fine. Oh, my God. I need more coffee. So I'm looking at the Titans offense, 27th. Texans offense, 11th. I mean, it's virtually the same other than the passing on the Texans. It's in Houston. I don't know if C.J. Stroud's going to be back or not, but I'm going to give this one up. Definitely. Stat-wise, at home, it's so hard to go on the road, especially with who's going to be quarterback. Is it going to be Will Levis? Is it going to be Tannehill? I'm just going to give this one up to the Houston Texans in Houston. Next game is the Colts, 8-7, playing for their playoff life, and the Raiders, who are red hot. That defense is just unstoppable. Offense sucks. Offense of the Raiders, 29th. That sucks, guys. The rushing for the Raiders is 31st. That sucks, guys. And the passing, 23rd. The Colts is 19th passing, 13th rushing, 22nd defense, and 15th offense rated. But you got to go with a hot hand. I mean, you got to go with a hot team. I just think the Raiders are playing out of their mind. They just are. And they're going into Indianapolis. I don't know. I just don't. The Raiders' defense is just. Look what they did to Kansas City. They went on the road to Kansas City and beat Kansas City. What, you don't think they're going to do the same to the Colts? Now the Colts might have a little bit more juice. They have Taylor. They have better offense than Kansas City. They have better. Not better offense. I would say their weapons, other than Gardner Minshew, I would pick Mahomes over Minshew any day of the week. But still, they have more weapons. But that defense of the Raiders, I'm sorry, and it's going to be an ugly game. I'm giving this one up to the Raiders. They just, really, the Raiders over the Colts. This next game's dangerous, guys. Dangerous, and dangerous. This is going to be my upset special, this next game. And there's a reason why. Christian Kirk is hurt. Zay Jones is hurt. Lawrence is working on one leg. And the stats are just ugly. 3,736 yards for Lawrence. Good, but he has 19 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Lawrence has 329 yards rushing and 4 rushing touchdowns. ETN 849 and 9 touchdowns. They all. The thing of it is that what they want to do, they structured this team. Everything goes around ETN, right? They hand the ball off, and the thing of it is that because they have Calvin Ridley and they have Ingram and they had Christian Kirk, they don't know if he's going to be back. He might be back for the playoffs. That's what they're saying. Might. But who knows if they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think so. I really don't. They're 12th ranked offense, but 25th ranked defense. It's the defense. What you have to understand is that you just can't. They've been giving the ball away. You can't have a great defense if you have a mediocre defense, which they do, right? They don't really have a great defense. There's 32 teams in the league, guys. 32. They're 25th. There's only, 25th in the league. That's not good. But if you look at the Panthers, 30th offense, but 5th ranked defense. 5th. It's been terrible weather back east. The 26 rushing for the Jags. It's just really. And with all the injuries, this is going to be my upset special. My upset special is the Carolina Panthers to go into Jacksonville and beat the Jacksonville Jags. There we go. We have the next game. We have the Los Angeles Rams. The New York Giants played well last week. They really did. They played close. They came. But the Giants, you have to look at the stats. They're 31st offense, 28th defense, 32nd passing. Guys, there's 32 teams in the NFL. Come on, man. 32 teams in the NFL. I know. There's 32nd, guys. 32nd. Oh, my God. It's ugly for the Giants. So ugly. You look at stats. Stafford, 62%. He's at 3,648 yards, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Pakua Nakua, 96 receptions, 1,327 yards. Cooper Kupp, how many games has he played? Only a few. 710 yards. Kyren Williams, he's just great. 208 attempts at 1,057, 9 touchdowns. In all those games he's been hurt. just stat-wise, looks terrible for the Giants. Even if they're at home, I'm sorry, New York football Giant fans. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. The Rams are really red hot, and they got their defense back, giving it up to the Los Angeles Rams on the road. We have the next game. We have the Arizona Cardinals going into the Eagles. Be careful on this one, people. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful, because the Eagles have just not been playing up to par. They just haven't. I mean, they just 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions for 13 interceptions for Jalen Hurts. But Hurts, he has 15 touchdowns. He has 35 touchdowns altogether. 35. 15 rushing. That's the push. 15 rushing touchdowns. Wow. And 20 passing. So what does that tell you guys? If you stop the rush with Philadelphia, who's the name target? I mean, look at their passing. I mean, both wideouts. A.J. Brown, 1,394 yards, 7 touchdowns. Devontae Smith, 1,036 yards and 7 touchdowns. Wow. I mean, those two altogether. You look at the Cardinals, and the Cardinals just, I mean, they're the Cardinals. They're 3-12. They're supposed to look ugly. The defense for the Eagles are 20th. Passing is 14th. Middle of the road passing. And, I mean, just the only thing that looks good on the rushing for the Eagles is 6th, and rushing for the Cardinals is 9th. I mean, that's the only good part about the Cardinals. Their rushing is Connors. That's about it, I mean, what's Connors have? He has 762 yards. He's been hurt too, so everything's for the Cardinals. I can't pick the Cardinals in this game. I mean, I picked the Carolina Panthers to beat a limping team. That's an easy pick. Easy upset special, but this one, there's no way. I'm sorry. Eagles over the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we have the Saints going into Tampa Bay, playing the Tampa Bay Bucks, which is, they're hot. Baker Mayfield is hot. And they're on the road to the north. But if you look at the stats, you got the 14th ranked offense of the Saints, 23rd for the Bucks, 14th ranked for the defense for the Saints, 24th for the Bucks, 12th passing for the Saints, 17th passing for the Bucks, 21st rushing for the Saints, 30th rushing for the Bucks. But they use their rushing for, like, they do drop-off passes to White. That's been huge lately. 19 touchdowns for Mr. Derek Carr. And 8 interceptions, 3,400 yards, 67%. That's pretty good. Kamara's terrible. 649 yards, 5 touchdowns. Aklave is their only, Aklave and Shaheed are the only 2 wideouts that are doing well. I mean, Aklave's at 1,041 yards, pretty good, 4 touchdowns. But you got the Bucks and Baker Mayfield, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 3,598 yards. So he's more yards, and he's not a better percentage-wise, 3% less than Derek. But White has 873 yards, 6 touchdowns in rushing. And Baker has a rushing touchdown. Evans, 1,163 yards, 13 touchdowns. There's their man. And even Godwin, he's at 892 yards, almost 1,000 yards, and 1 touchdown. He has more receptions, Godwin. 74 receptions. Mike Evans, 73 receptions, 1,163 yards. More of a deep threat for Mike and more of a touchdown threat for Mike. The Bucs are so hot, guys. I should have called the Bucs last week. And this week they're playing the Saints. They're at home. Give it up to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Okay, the San Francisco 49ers next against the Washington Commanders. This is going to be great for Chase Young. I mean, he's going against a team that dropped him. Stat-wise, I mean, come on, guys. Purdy, 4,000 yards, 4,050 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 69% passer rating, almost 70%. I mean, that's the completion percentage, excuse me. Christian McCaffrey is at 1,395 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns, and 258 attempts. Deebo Samuels is at 179 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. Ayuk is at 1,203 yards in the air, only 65 receptions, 1,203 yards. He has the highest percentage per catch in the NFL. Ayuk. And Kittle, 62 receptions at 991 yards, almost 1,000 yards. Wow. George is just huge, huge. Ayuk's almost at 20 yards per reception, highest in the NFL. McCaffrey, I'm sorry, guys. The Commanders' 19th offense, 32nd defense, 16th free passing, 22. Come on. You all know who's going to win this game. I mean, ask the kid down the street who knows just a little bit about football. These are one of these games that you've got to be careful. But the whole thing is, I don't think San Fran's that type of a team. I just don't. They're too good to lose this game. Give it up to the San Francisco 49ers. Next game, we have the Steelers going into the Seahawks, both 8-7 teams. This is going to be tough. Stat-wise, Steelers look great in rushing. 29th with Seattle. It's in Seattle. That's the whole thing, guys. It's in Seattle. Pickett, he hasn't been around. He's out. Najee Harris is only at 801 yards. Warren is at 676 yards. Pickens is 1,009 yards catching. That's pretty good. And then the Seahawks, Geno Smith is back. I just don't see Seattle losing this game. I just don't see it. It's in Seattle. If it wasn't in Seattle, if it was in Pittsburgh, I would probably pick Pittsburgh. But it's in Seattle. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to beat Seattle in Seattle. So give it up to the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, we did the Chargers. Going into Denver, playing the Denver Broncos. No Russell Wilson. Wow. No Russell Wilson. And, you got Wilson, 3,000 yards passing, 66%. Highest passing rating in the league, 98.5. 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Sorry, wow. And then Chargers, Haber's not in, shtick. It's ugly against ugly. You can't look at the stats in this game. It's because the Chargers are just terrible. And the same with, 29th defense against the 30th ranked defense. Who's going to win? Flip a coin. That's what type of game this is. Flip a coin. Stenham against the Chargers. Starter stick. I think the Broncos are going to, get beat this game. I think the Chargers are going to go into Denver and they're going to beat Denver Broncos. And Peyton's move to let Russ sit is going to be right in his face. They're going to lose against the Chargers. Chargers over the Broncos in Denver. Boom. The next game is going to be interesting. It's a 125 game. We have the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals, playing out of their minds with Browning against the Chiefs at home. This is it. This is for the Chiefs. The Chiefs' 9th-ranked offense, 2nd-ranked defense, 4th-ranked passing, and 20th-ranked rushing. And the Bengals is 21st offense, 31st defense. That's where the Achilles heel is. The passing's 11th. Browning looks great. Rushing is terrible on the Bengals. They're 32nd, last in the league. Last, guys. Believe it or not. I mean, Mixon has 8 touchdowns, 858 yards, but no one else. C. Brown has 131 yards rushing. That's the next one. Jamar Chase has been hurt. 1,156 yards, 7 touchdowns. Higgins stepping up. 5 touchdowns, 637. Mahomes almost at 4,000 yards passing, 39, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Pacheco, 805 yards. He's been hurt. Kelsey, 968 yards and receptions. Top receiver. Rashad Rice, 812. That's their thing. They just shut down Kelsey, and But the 31st ranked defense. I'm sorry. I just can't. I look at the stats, and I just don't see the Bengals winning this game. Not in Kansas City. Kansas City's not going to lose 2 in a row, guys. I'm sorry. Giving it up to the Kansas City Chiefs. Boom. Now, Sunday Night Football, which is New Year's Eve. The Vikings hosting the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay barely beating the Carolina Panthers in overtime, 33-30 last week. They're going into Minnesota. Minnesota 7-8, Green Bay 7-8. It's all about this. It's in Minnesota. It's in Minnesota. Chandler looking great. Hawkinson, I believe he just tore an ACL. He's out for the season. They have Jefferson, Addison, Packers, Jordan Love, 27 touchdowns this year, 11 interceptions. I mean, running looks terrible. Dillon's 568 yards, and Aaron Jones 425 yards. I don't know, guys. It's they just look terrible. The stats, and then the Viking stats, not that good either. So, I mean, you look at the 10th ranked offense for the Vikings, 13th ranked defense, 3rd in passing, 27th in rushing. The Green Bay Packers just don't look good. It's prime time. It's New Year's Eve. The last game of Week 17. Prime time. The way the Green Bay Packers played against the Carolina Panthers and the way that Vikings played, I'm going to give this one up to the Minnesota Vikings at home. So, excuse me on that one. So we have the winners will be the Vikings, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Bucks, the Eagles, the Rams, upset special, Panthers over the Jags. We have the Raiders over the Colts. We have the Texans over the Titans. We have the Bears to beat the Falcons. Hello. We got the Bills over the over the New England Patriots. The Ravens over the Dolphins. We have the Lions to beat the Cowboys. And we have the best lock of the week, the Browns to beat the Jets. Wow, it's been fun, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Calvin Dean Show. And I'll see you soon. Saturday morning, fantasy football roundup. And I will have a show live from the studio. And it will probably post on Friday. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you next week.